So how did the off week go?
I think it went well. I think it, allowed us to spend a little bit extra time on, covering our mistakes from game one, making sure that we're doing everything we need to do as a football team to be a lot better in game two. And it also gave us an opportunity to prepare a little bit longer on SMU, which is a really good football team. So. And then third, it kind of lets you get back to getting fresh. And so we had a long camp, and that first game, I know everybody's really excited, but gave us an opportunity to make sure we focused in on our nutrition and our health as well. So overall, it's been really, really good.
Looking at SMU, obviously, you know the coach well in the offense. Bouchel back. Just talk about their overall problems that they provide, and then on the defensive side as well.
Yeah, offensively, obviously with a veteran quarterback like Shane, I mean, he does a great job managing that system. And gets the ball in the playmaker's hand, but he's smart on how he does it. They like to play out of 12 personnel, which is a little bigger packages, and kind of like to run the ball, like to pound the inside zone, power, outside zone. And then also, once you start getting a little greedy with your safeties or getting those extra hats in the fits, they're going to, play action and hit you with the deep balls. And they're very athletic outside at the receiver position. And so, we got to do a great job with our eyes, our technique, and make sure we're going to have to battle some contested plays there outside and win up the corner position on some of the islands. But they do a great job defensively. They're very multiple. Kevin Kane, again, does a great job. He's very multiple in the sense he basically has three different defense. I mean, there's 2 3-man front defenses, and then there's a 4-man front. Mixes up his coverages very well. I think they're talented. Really on all of their positions there. You can't really find any weak spots per se on either side of the ball. I think they're very well-rounded, they're sound, and I think they got good players. So it'll be a great matchup for us. I know our guys are excited. I know they'll be very excited for this game, and look forward to go out there and compete and having some fun.
This has always been such a big game for North Texas. Have you gotten the sense in your time at the school there that this is a game that's important to your fans and just your supporters in general?
Absolutely. It's important to our fans. It's important to our coaches, our players. It's important in all the different battles we have. I mean, it's a school that's right down the road. We recruit against each other, everything. And so it's an important game. We all know the importance of it. And again, it's like all rivalries. You want to go out there and give it your best and make sure you put your best foot forward and go out and execute.
Within the last couple of weeks, Coach, has any quarterback between Bean and Ani, has either one really proved themselves to actually be the starter? Because, the depth chart, you're still listing them as co-starters, and either one can still have an effect on the game. Has either one really stood out within the last couple of weeks in practice?
I think they both stood out. That's why we go or. I don't buy into depth charts. At the end of the day, I think we have 2 quarterbacks we can go out there and win with. So, like I said, you never lay your hand down until you got to. So, I feel great about our quarterback situation. I feel good about both those guys, and we'll go from there.
Is Mooney going to be available this week?
Yes, he will.
Nick Smith, is Nick going to be available as well?
Yes, he will.
Nope.
Oh, he said yes, I believe.
I'm sorry. Yes, Brett. I'm sorry. I thought
Yeah,
okay.
you cut out for a second.
Broke up there for a second. Thanks.
Good. Now that you've been able to, obviously look at the HBU film a lot. Talk about the offensive line, what you saw from them, and obviously a lot of their first games.
I thought we settled in well. We had some young guys that had their first start, which it took a little bit, I think, for them to settle in. But I thought overall, I thought they performed really solid. Early on, the run game, again, didn't go, I wouldn't say it was stellar there early in the opening part of the games, but some of that's, kind of figuring out what they're getting into, what their fronts were going to be, how they were going to play us. And I think some of that was just getting settled in with some new guys. But once they got comfortable and we kind of got in a rhythm, got our tempo going, I thought they protected good. We didn't give up any sacks. I thought we ran the ball well. You had 360 yards rushing, and I think really it kind of really took off for up front, I feel like, and really at a lot of our positions there in the second half. I thought we wore them down a little bit with some of our tempo and kept on leaning on them, and then you're going to hit some of those big runs. And overall, we were pretty explosive. So I thought it was a good first start. Obviously, we got to continue to improve and get much better, but I like where we're at, and Coach Bless is doing a great job with that group.
Coach, what kind of? Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So, Coach, the two starting quarterbacks have been doing really well so far. I'd like to know your thoughts on Kason Martin, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that he pushes the other two co-quarterbacks to stay on their toes?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Kason does a great job of, they all push each other. I think that group's really tight. I think that's the chemistry aspect of it is really important, especially at that position. When other guys are in, you're getting one, mental reps, and two, you can coach each other up, kind of what you saw on the back end. They communicate very well on game day, all three of them. Kason's done a great job with that.
Coach, what kind of impact have your junior college transfers in Devontae and Terrius and Tishon had in the program? Just being there, it's their first time. What kind of things have you seen from those three?
I think they only, again, it's really first game for them back, this season too, and so just kind of getting settled in. I think they'll be much better in game two. Anterius is the guy up front who really had his first big time start at a Conference USA, and I know he was really excited, but at the same time, you're going to have some of that early jitters, just like any first-time starter. But I thought he settled in well and played really pretty solid overall. And I think there's obviously, as a whole group up front, we have to get better at just our technique and our fundamentals. We still have to improve across the board. But I thought he did good. Those other guys, again, all three of them, I think they're only going to get better as you move forward. You didn't really have a spring with them. I think they've learned our systems very well. I think the more comfortable they get, where they can just turn it loose, they're going to be fine.
Coach, you've had a little time to digest what the game day experience was like against HBU. How much different did it feel in this COVID-19 era compared to a normal Saturday?
I'll tell you what, I thought our fans, our crowd, our students, everybody was there, did a great job. There was, even though it maybe not have been full, the people that were allowed to be there brought great energy that we were able to feed off of. So that's always important. But just like anything, we talk to our guys. Once, a lot of the times that kickoff goes, and after the first couple plays, you kind of zone in and you're locked into the game. I'm locked into whether it's calling plays or they're locked into making plays. And so it doesn't matter a lot of the times. Yes, you want to feed off your crowd in between, offense, defense, special teams, kind of in between your drives. But a lot of the times when you're out there on the field playing, the noise kind of drowns out anyway, just because of you're so focused on doing your job. And so it was, obviously it's a little different. I'm excited for when we can get back to having full capacity and, bringing that game day excitement all the way around. But I was proud of the way our fans handled it. And at the end of the day, we're going to go out there and compete, and I don't care who's there.
And how proud are you of your program, your players, coaching staff, that you guys have navigated this, tough situation, and you are where you are. You're playing games. You're doing your thing.
Oh, I'm very proud of them. Not only just continuing to work, on getting better every single day. I mean, we could have sat around and had a couple meetings here and there and checked in on each other, but didn't try to get any better. And that wasn't the case within our players, our coaches, our leadership council, our administration. I thought everybody did a great job. Really proud of them, and and then continuing to do the right things to try to stay healthy and make sure that we can do everything possible on our end, control what we can control on staying healthy. But you can't get enough credit to our administration, Jeff, our athletic training staff, our team doctors. It took a lot of work from so many people. It's crazy, but I'm proud of where we are. I'm blessed and thankful that we have the opportunity to go out there and compete.
Coach, has the recent resignation of Tate Wallace been a distraction at all for the prep for SMU? How have players and coaches handled that?
Control what you can control. Go out there and focus in on doing your job. And again, that's where we're at, and that's where it's going to continue to be.
Is Quinn going to take over kind of as your quarterbacks coach, or what's your plan for handling your quarterbacks at this point?
I'm coaching quarterbacks. I've been in the room since day one. I've always been in the room, and so they're going to hear the same voice, no matter. As the play caller, they got to think what I'm thinking. They always have to, and kind of when I'm going through, whether it's practice tape or game tape, I think that communication is peril for those quarterbacks, because I want them to be able to think, all right, Coach Littrell's thinking this on this. This is why we're trying to attack them here, on what plays and what we're trying to see. And so that's never going to change. Quinn's been our worked with the quarterbacks. He's played the position. He's been around me a long time, and so obviously it helps having another quarterback guy there in that room, out on the field, he can see some different fundamental stuff and work some drill stuff with them. But overall, it hadn't changed. I mean, those guys are always going to hear my voice. So from that aspect, as the offensive coordinator, basically, I mean, that's never going to change.
Is replacing, filling that coaching role there, is that something you will look to do in the off season?
I've always, that's something as a play caller, I feel like I've always, you got to be able to have that communication and sit in on those quarterback meetings if possible, and making sure, again, when you're going through tape, when you're breaking down film or watching opponents, they got to know how you're thinking, and I want to know what they're thinking as well as they're seeing it. And so, I think that's important because maybe they're not seeing it the way you do, and maybe that's a play that they're not real comfortable with. And so, like I tell them all the time, if you're not comfortable, I'm definitely not comfortable. It may be great on paper. It may be a great play, but you're just not comfortable making that read or that throw. Let's throw it out and let's do something you are comfortable with. There's plenty of offense out there. We have plenty of stuff to where we can attack our different grass. And so, just making sure everybody's on the same page and comfortable.
No, I get that, but what I was getting at here is, so you look to fill that role, fill that coaching spot on your staff. That'd be something you would do in the off season. It's not something you're looking to turn out and immediately hire somebody else. Absolutely.
Well, I'll rock the boat. I mean, again, they know my voice. They know what I'm thinking. Again, it's not a must. And so, why rock the boat?
Now, there were a couple of positive COVID-19 tests across the entire athletic department this week. Do you anticipate you guys will have anybody? Will you really have everybody available, or is there any possibility you might be missing some people due to COVID-19?
In this day and age, there's always a possibility. We test 3 times a week, and so that's something we're aware of. And again, that's something we continue to stress with our guys, is trying to do the right thing. And you may not even still be able to control it, Brett, as you know. I mean, and so. As of right now, we plan on it, but again, we still have 2 tests left, and you never know how it can come back, and so that's why everybody has to be prepared the way we are preparing. You got to have multiple guys at multiple positions, be ready to get out there and compete and win a football game, and so it's a little different in the sense, maybe in the years past you would focus more, most of your time on your 1s and some to your 2s. Getting prepared for a game. But now, I mean, you got to prepare a lot of different guys in order to make sure that you're going to be okay on game day if guys aren't available.
Coach, kind of on a different note, like you mentioned, you've had a week to go through the tape of the Houston Baptist game. I'm writing a story on Bailey Zappi. So, first of all, what was it kind of that he was able to do so well? And the other thing that I'll ask is, after seeing what he did against Texas Tech, does that kind of help you feel a little better about maybe where you guys are?
No, I knew going into the game he was a good quarterback, and we talked about it all week long. I think I mentioned it before going in there. And I remember I've been a part of that true air raid system, Mike, and that's more Mike Leach style. Get the ball out of your hands, grass, leverage, scramble around, making sure that your eyes are always downfield on scramble drill, making plays. I thought he did an exceptional job running that offense. And it gets frustrating for your D-line because he is getting the ball out so quickly, and some of our splits at times, it's hard to get to the quarterback. And they do a great job of operating it. They do the same things over and over, and the quarterback does a great job. When he sees certain looks, they give him the freedoms to check into good plays. And not only him, I thought their receivers did a great job. They run it just enough to keep you honest, but at the same time, they're very good at understanding grass, space, leverage, and they catch the ball. And so again, you know, I felt good after the past game. If you look at it, going into I think a minute and something left in the third quarter, we had held them to 10 points. We got to finish off the game better when guys come out and the next guys step up and go in there and make plays. You got to make plays. And so, you know, I feel like we didn't make some of the plays we should have made there in the fourth quarter, but overall I thought it was solid early. Again, I think they're an explosive offense. I think they do a great job.
Coach, on the subject of quarterbacks, your quarterbacks all showed great arm strength, but in odd moments when the offensive line broke down, all three quarterbacks did a great job extending the play with their legs. Protecting the backfield this year was priority. Are you happy with what you've seen so far?
I thought the protection was good, you know, except the breakdown. We had really one breakdown on protection, and that's where Bean kind of saved us a little bit to where he got out of the pocket, ran around, and gained 9 yards. And that's a weapon that he has, and that's something he's got to be able to utilize, and that's a good thing. And the very next play, we ended up running a zone read, and he took it, you know, 40 to the house. And so, but I think all those guys can do that. I think Ani, he's athletic, he can run as well. Again, they all have that strength and ability. At times, I thought, you know, they flushed the pocket too quick instead of just standing in there and making a throw. But again, I don't want to take away some of their strengths, which is their athleticism and the way they can run. So at times, you know, you're not comfortable with something doesn't smell right, and then tuck the ball and let's go.
Also in the moments where Bean would roll out and he threw the long touchdown pass early on in the game as well, his second touchdown pass was also a flow out to the right. So seeing that he can work with his legs as well as even throwing on the run,
yeah.
I'm sure is a great to have.
Yeah, it is, and I think all of them do a great job of throwing on the run. You know, the one I'd like to have back was maybe the one on third down. You can say it. I mean, could have maybe threw a touchdown pass there in that situation, but understand the change, and I think we had the back there on the flat on one of them later on with the quarterback, and wish we could have converted that third down, understanding the situations. But you know, I think they did a great job. Again, overall, I think our O-line did a much better job at protecting the quarterback, and so you know, that's the positives. We still got to continue to get better. It'll be a different matchup this week, and you know, the challenges are only getting tougher.
You guys will face a Denton guy this week out at SMU. Delano Robinson has played a pretty big role for SMU over the last couple of years. What's your impression of him been in the time that you've seen him and the time you've seen him on tape?
He can go at the end of the day, and I think he's a very versatile player and very athletic, and he can make plays. And so again, but I don't think it's not only him. I think they have a lot of great players all around the board at all their positions, and so. Again, it'll be a great challenge. It'll be a great matchup, and that's what we come to play ball for. Be excited about this opportunity to go out there and go make plays and compete and kind of see where the chips fall.
Coach, I know that when Mason was there with you guys, you know, it seemed like he thrived in sort of those big games against bigger competition, against like Arkansas and SMU and all that. How did you feel like Bailey Zappi handled playing against sort of FBS competition? Do you feel like he kind of had that same sort of juice?
Absolutely. You know, I thought he's very comfortable in that system. He understands what he has, and he's very good at operating the system, managing it, getting into the right checks, the right reads. He's been in it now for a long time. There's not going to be a situation too big for him. I think his confidence, as you can see on the field, he feels like he can play with anybody in the country, and he feels like he can obviously score points. Doesn't matter who it is. And so I was impressed with how he handled, you know, the first opening game, especially with the timing and rhythm was really pretty impressive with the amount of work they've been able to do, maybe through some of the quarantine stuff. So I think he's a good football player. I really do. I think they have a very good offense. And again, not only him, I think they have really good receivers that make plays. I think both brothers, they have 100 yards apiece maybe in this past week in the game. And so you can tell, I mean, yeah, they can compete against good competition and make plays.
Coach, you guys have such a deep group of running backs this year. We saw that in your opener. Do you feel like that's going to be a real strength, this team, this year going forward?
Absolutely. You know, at the end of the day, I feel like it's a group that, you know, has some change-ups in it. Some are a little you know, more shifty than others. Some run better than others. Some are more powerful than others. But I think it's a deep group and allows those guys to stay fresh, good change-up backs. And so I was pleased, game one, again, going out 360 yards rushing. I thought they did a good job. I thought probably DeAndre and Oscar did a great job really running behind his pads, being physical. Isaiah did a good job of playing physical, utilizing his skill set. And so, Trey just getting back, he hadn't had a ton of work coming into fall camp, just from coming off the knee and being released. I think he really only had 1 week of being out of a red jersey. And so we gave him, probably 15 plays in our last scrimmage. It was basically all the work he's had. So the more comfortable he gets, with his injury being over and, his strength being well, then he's only going to get more comfortable. Again, all the way around, I think we're at a good spot.
You want to lean on those guys this year? I mean, we kind of identified this team with throw it around with Mason for the last 4 years. Now all of a sudden you've got such a deep group there and you're kind of due at quarterback. Is that something you guys will look to lean towards, maybe lean on your running game a bit more?
Yeah, we obviously got to run the ball. And, that's a mindset. That's something that I've always wanted to be able to do well is, get downhill and be physical football team and run the football. But not only do I feel like we're deep in that position, I think we have some playmakers outside as well. And so to me, again, I go back to, y'all talk about balance, 50-50 run pass. Well, it's not 50-50 run pass to me. We were very balanced the other night, 361 passing, 360 rushing. But I think a lot of it, when I talk balance, is making sure that you're able to do what you need to do in those situations. If you need to throw the ball and they're packing the box and they're adding extra hats, you got to be able to take the edge off by going over the top and hitting some deep balls and backing them up. At the same time, if they want to play pass coverage, you better be able to pound the rock. And so that's the balance I'm talking about. I feel like we had a good start with that. I think. As you can see, we have playmakers out on the field that can have the ability to be explosive and make plays. I think this past game was probably one of our more explosive games since I've been here. I mean, we had 19 explosives. And so that's pretty impressive from that group, and hopefully we can continue to do that.
How do you handle playing time with such a deep batch of guys? You just let them go out there and compete and try to earn their time?
See, yeah, and people talk about starters. Well, sometimes the starting running back may be based upon what we're opening the game with. Sometimes, this past game, 2 tight ends started and 2 receivers, not 3. And so starters, that whole stuff, to me, again, it's what are you trying to get accomplished? What's your game plan? What's your opening sets? That's who's going to start. And then once one guy gets hot, let him feed him the ball. And that's no different for a quarterback, a running back. If a receiver gets hot, that's just the momentum of the game. And, guys are going to have great days and guys are going to have off days. And so everybody's got to take care of everybody. When one guy's down, the next guy steps up and making sure that who's making plays, keep on trying to feed him the rock and get them to make plays for you.
Is the competitive nature between those guys something that they benefit from?
I think everybody benefits from competition. There's no different in that room. But I think the most beneficial thing that we have going on is the chemistry. And I think that's the most important thing. When guys are really excited for each other, excited about watching other guys have success also, that's huge. The competition is going to be there, but I don't think it's so much competing against each other as much as it's competing against yourself and how good can you make yourself. And so I think, I think our team's done a great job with that. I think a lot of that's due to the chemistry we have.
Coach,
Obviously, Dion Noble is he's a senior this year. He's entering his draft year. What's one thing that stood out to you about his development over the summer?
I think as you can tell, he's strong. I mean, he's a force up inside to where he's going to force some double teams, and I think he's done a great job of keeping his weight down as much as needed to where he can still have some of that, some of his twitch, but he's got to utilize his strengths the way they have him. He's a big, thick, physical, strong dude, and we got to continue to work and try to get that whole D line to play across the line of scrimmage and get some disruption. So I'm excited where he's at. He's not only been he's going to be a great player, but he's also one of our team leaders, one of our team captains. He's a great teammate, So he's doing the right things.
All right, guys.
Coach,
In the interest of
earned
time,
Conference USA Defensive Player of the Week last week. What do you think he's done to improve from last year?
I'm
to
sorry,
this year?
I didn't hear your question. I'm sorry.
Sorry, it's okay. KD Davis, he earned a C Conference USA Defensive Player of the Week last week. What do you think he's done to improve from last year, and what are your thoughts on his potential going forward?
I think he has a high ceiling. I think he's a very, very athletic kid that sees the field well. And I think the more comfortable he gets within the system, the better he's going to be. But as you can tell, out in space, he does a great job of attacking the football, wherever that is, whether it's on the pass or the run, whether he's having to track quarterbacks, all those things. He's athletic, and he can close, and he closes in on you really quick. And so, I think he's only going to get better the more comfortable he gets, but he's relentless. He's going to go out there and give it everything he has every snap, and he's going to use that athleticism to his advantage.